I'm Jean Marie Herron, Certified Professional Organizer. Welcome to POSSE, productivity and organizing solutions serving everyone in your home office, or virtual. If you want to see my organizing and productivity classes and videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. So normally, I have a full-blown PowerPoint presentation, and it's very structured. And there's a theme, there's a topic. I usually go in between a residential topic and then a workplace productivity topic. But because it was August, I decided to not have a structure and not have a PowerPoint and just come very casual and see what you all wanted to ask me. So if you have a particular question and you feel this will be interactive, we can stay on. We have another classmate, Marilyn, and she doesn't have any particular questions at the moment.
I didn't have anything in particular. I know that I've listened to you before and I always learn something.
Oh, cool.
I was hoping, I'm pretty organized, and my husband passed away about 6 years ago. So I started cleaning out my house, thinking that I was going to move, and I decided not to move. But trying to reorganize living room furniture is seeming to be a little bit difficult. And I'm thinking about reupholstering. I don't know if you have any advice about that. So
I have a great resource for reupholstering, and if you send me a direct email, do you know my email? jm@possepartnersllc.com. What I'll do is, her name is Sahava Schwartz, and she's done some work for me, and she's done some work for a lot of people I know who are very pleased. So if you want to talk to her, you can, but send me an email offline and I'll give you her contact information. We tend to live in our homes for a long time, and we get very used to the furniture placement. So, and in a lot of the homes that I go into, especially as a professional organizer, most people tend to have too much furniture. So they actually have furniture clutter, if you will. But the first thing I always do, and I'm not a stager, and I'm not an interior designer, I look at it, number one, from a functionality purpose. What purpose does the furniture serve in this space that we're organizing? But maybe just mixing it up some will give you a whole new vibe, because at the moment, you're what I call aging in place. So because of your personal situation, you've decided to stay. So I don't know if your goal is to stay there and just be ready to move on a dime in case that opportunity presents itself to you, or you're really happy where you are and now you want to make it more, about yourself or updated or fresh.
I just really want to freshen it up. I have a tendency to move my furniture around a lot. So people will come to the house and say, "You moved your furniture again." But I'm just tired of the upholstery on the couch. And I have purchased a new couch for another room. And I realized that the couch that I have in the living room was very expensive and it's in great shape. So I don't think I need to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it has two armchairs that also go with that fabric. So I'd have to do all three at once.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Yeah. So I'd be calling an interior redesigner or a stager if I was at that point, or I'd be trying to figure it out yourself. But that is definitely not my area of expertise. Hi, Arita. Thanks for joining us. So we're just about 10 minutes into this POSSE's pen, and I want to backtrack a little bit and explain why I look the way I do. So I'm Jean Marie Herron, for those of you who've never met me before, and I'm a certified professional organizer, and I run a company called POSSE Partners. And this is my summer POSSE's pen call, so I'm in a bathing suit with wet hair. And we do not have what I typically call a structured POSSE's pen today, where I have a theme and then I present on it, usually a PowerPoint, and I do 20 minutes of a professional presentation, and then I open up to Q&A. Today is all about Q&A from the beginning, so it's your opportunity as a participant to ask whatever questions you want. Next month, on September 15th for POSSE's Pen, our topic is going to be paper and digital detox for every kind of home office. So today is all about being casual, come as you are, it's summer, and keep asking your questions. So the longer you ask questions, the more we can stay on. Do you have a source to sell fine bone china? So as a professional organizer, I honestly do not know the value of things. I am in all different kinds of homes, from very modest homes to multi-million-dollar homes. Every day is a different story in my life. And I cannot look at a painting or a piece of ceramic or a glass and know what it's worth. So I work with a lot of folks who are senior appraisers, estate sale companies, et cetera. I find in general that today's china is not worth a lot of money. But what I would recommend is that you get in touch with a resource that sells china all the time. So again, if you send me an email on the side, which my email address is jm for Jean Marie at POSSEPartnersLLC.com. So Posse, P-O-S-S-E, partners plural, P-A-R-T-N-E-R-S, LLC for limited liability corporation.com. I will send you a great resource, and you can call that person and even send a picture. And when you send a picture of the front and the back, because the back might be, stamped with a name, etc. They will know whether or not it's valuable and the best place to sell it. So hopefully that answered your question. Let me open the chat box in case there are more questions here. Okay, so that was the question on the china. As a professional organizer, I don't sell anything. I do have lots of different kinds of resources. I am finding right now that if one is not selling the entire home contents in such as an estate sale, the best place to sell piecemeal would be on social media. So Facebook Marketplace, a lot of people are selling there. And there's a lot of little apps as well. And if you just want to give things away on social media without having like a charity pickup at your home, like, the Vietnam Veterans, United Breast Cancer Foundation, you could, there's a great new website. I don't know if we call it an app or a website. It's called the Buy Nothing Project, and most communities in Bergen County now have an administrator in each town. So for example, I'm in Ridgewood. So there's the Buy Nothing Project in Ridgewood. And whenever you don't want something in your house, you take a picture and you post it on the Buy Nothing Project in your town. And I'm telling you, within minutes, it goes. So, a couple months ago, I was redoing my dining room and I had an old-fashioned baker's rack. It was in great shape, but I didn't want it anymore. I bought a new piece of shelving that was going to replace it. And within 5 minutes, somebody on the other end of my phone said, I'm happy to take it. And because they lived in town, we were able to coordinate it outside my house. So that's, I think, right now in terms of donating and selling. If you're a social media person, great. I'm actually looking for somebody to work with me as an assistant who will sell on social media, because many times my clients don't want to sell everything in the house, but there are different items they want to sell. And it gets a little tricky and it's very time consuming. It can be done, but it's very time consuming. So, okay, somebody give me the next question. What antiques are selling today, if any? I don't know. You would have to talk to somebody who is an expert in antiques or a really great resource for estate sales. There is a great website called estatesales.net, and every sale in New Jersey, estate sale, is on that website. And a lot of them are run by different companies. So they would know the answer to that. I suppose you could even Google it. I mean, you can get so much information from the internet. So you could Google, what antiques are selling today. I do know that in northern New Jersey, especially since COVID, and this was happening anyways, that a lot of antique dealers have gone out of business. A lot of secondhand shops have gone out of business. A lot of consignment shops have gone out of business. I think it's a combination of people buying things online, the younger folk coming up not wanting the older things, and then COVID. So, you know, try and run a business in COVID, and the real estate up here in northern New Jersey is very expensive. So now, you know, you're trying to house larger pieces of furniture that need to be taken care of. So that's my answer on that one.
Thank you.
You bet. If I ever had the money, I would buy a really large warehouse myself, and I would fill it with all of the wonderful things that my clients don't want anymore. Because here in northern New Jersey, it is very difficult when you decide to let go of things to find a proper receptacle. And it's wonderful to find somebody who would love what it is you're trying to let go of, whether, you know, you're going to sell it to them or whether you're going to give it to them. And that's always the tricky part, you know. How do I get this, you know, antique sewing machine or whatever it is, piano, to somebody who will appreciate it and love it, you know. In general as well, most people are very disappointed in the dollar value that they'll get. Most people think that what they have is worth more than it is, unless it truly is very, you know, valuable, and you have the paperwork and you can get an appraiser, you know, to document how valuable it is. So, okay, I have another question. Can you give a short explanation of what you do when you enter a home? I have to do a video because every home that I enter is different. But in general, the way I work is I get some kind of an inquiry, you know, phone call, email, etc., about my services. And first I talk with somebody on the phone for a while and decide if it's, you know, going to be a right fit project, and then I go to the home. So a lot of my inquiries are, they're usually about whole home content. So people would like me to come into their home and help them organize the whole home. It might be decluttering for now. It might be decluttering to sell. It might be helping them get it ready for the market. I am not a stager, but the number one thing every real estate agent is going to want you to do is declutter in order to sell the home. So I go in and I do a physical assessment. It takes about an hour. I call it a walk and talk, and I charge $79 for that. And then I understand what my prospective client is looking for. You know, what is their project? You know, I'll just tell you about this week because I have so many different kinds of clients. This week, I got a call from a gentleman in the hospital. And he said, Jean Marie, I took, you know, your classes in Millen Park and Ridgewood. I live alone. I've fallen. I've fractured my knee. I'm not going to be able to get home for a while. And I might just go into a smaller apartment and sell the house. And so I'm actually going to be working without him. He's going to be giving me a key. I did a walk and talk with him on the phone, and a neighbor let me in. And I know the scope of project. I'm basically decluttering the house so that we can get whatever he wants to his next newly downsized home, and I'll get the house ready for market. That's one of my projects this week. I just left a client who her extended family moved in March of 2020, and they're now moving out back into a new house, and she wants to get her home back in order. That's another example. I have another client who they utilize me week to week. They both have high-level professional jobs, and they're not home often. Their girls are very, very busy, and they call me the sheriff, and I go there, you know, once a week, and we do maintenance. Like, we keep the place under wraps, if you will. Another client I had this week is a lovely couple. They've been in their home for 50 years. One is now, she's in her late 60s. He's in his early 70s. They've got a 6-bedroom house that is chock-a-block. And in a couple months, they want to be able to put their house on the market and move to a smaller place. So I'm trying to so give a short explanation of what you do when you enter a home. So maybe you mean when I enter the home for an organizing session. So I do the assessment. We decide if we're a good fit for each other. I need to understand my client's goals. I need to understand their time frame, and I need to understand my resources. So depending on the project, I might need just me. I might need an assistant. I might need a team. I might need a cleaning company. I might need a junk removal truck. I might need a shredding truck. Those are much more bigger jobs in general. I work alone on a lot of my projects because a lot of decisions have to be made. So I work directly with them physically, helping them make decisions about items. Is it going to stay? Is it going to go? Where's it going to go? And how are things going to be put back together in the meantime? But I have a methodology. I call it SSPOE. So it's POSSE all scrambled up. And no matter what space I'm organizing, that's my methodology. So for example, another job I had this week, my client has a package with me. And my session this week, she wanted me to work with her 10-year-old daughter, who has a very, very small bedroom. And it is completely full, mostly of clothes, but then of typical stuff a 10-year-old would have. And so when I went in there, I said, okay, you know, I go in for about a 3-hour block of time. And she had no idea who I was. All she knew was her mother hired a professional organizer. So I said, I'm going to make up her name. I say her name is Janet. And I said, Janet, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something called SSPOE, your bedroom, and we're going to start with your clothes. And then so we sorted, selected, purged, organized, and equalized. And that's my space methodology. So we sorted all of her clothes into categories. These were her school uniform. These were her short sleeve. These were her long sleeve. These were her jeggings. These were her shorts. This was her underwear. This was her bras, etc. And then she got selective now that we had everything, because everything was commingled in her bedroom. It was all mixed up. And once we had everything separated, she got selective on what was going to stay and what was going to go. And then we did the P for purge. So most of it was, you know, donate. Some of it was trash. But anything that wasn't going to go back into her bedroom went elsewhere. So that was our P. And then we organized what was going to, you know, live on a bin, what was going to live in a drawer, what was going to live on a shelf. And that was the organize, containerize, and labelize. And I labeled a lot of her shelves for her so that she knows when it comes back from the laundry where it's going to go. And then the equalize is all about when I leave, how does she maintain her bedroom? What kind of discipline and maintenance does she use so that the room stays the same whether or not I'm there? So that's really what I do when I come into a home. I'm all about the space methodology depending on the project. Okay, you mentioned the gentleman took your classes. Where and when do you have the classes? So prior to COVID, I was in several, I would present all the time live. So I'm still in the Ridgewood Community School. And I used to be in a lot of other adult schools. I used to do a lot of library presentations, small businesses. But right now, the only time I really present is here on my own POSSE's pen. I am scheduled, I'm not sure when it is, I'd have to look it up. I am at the Ridgewood Community School this fall. But in general, I'm not really presenting out and about because of, you know, the pandemic situation. But that's where the gentleman that hired me recently, that's how he found out about me. So most of my clientele comes from clients, colleagues, and presentations. I am on social media, but I don't do any advertising. So everything that I do comes from somebody knowing me through somebody else. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so we have 6 more minutes. What other questions do you have? Yep, I'm a great resource. And what I mean by that is even if, for example, you don't need any professional organizing or your friends and family don't need any organizing, because I'm in homes all the time, I do have a lot of resources. So, you know, I think I was mentioning to Marilyn before or I forget who it was, something about upholstery. Yeah. And, you know, I'm very involved on my Chamber of Commerce. So I know a lot of other tradespeople and vendors. So I have a great upholstery person. So, you know, she's going to email me separately and I'm going to give her that name and number. Yeah. And I think the hardest tradesperson right now is a really good handyman.
Oh God,
So,
yes. Yes, yes.
Every one of us needs
Yes.
you know, from a handyman up to a contractor. landscapers, electricians, plumbers, really, really difficult at the moment to secure a competent tradesfolks. Okay. Yep. So my email, oh, I should probably type it. Sometimes I forget I can do these things, you know. Okay. So jm@POSSEPARTNERSLLC.com. Okay, that's my email. So if anybody needs, you know, a particular resource, you can email me there. I also have, Rita probably knows this, but I have I call it my Decluttering and Beyond Home Preparation Resource List. I have a 4-page resource list that is full of places to donate, sell. There are some handyman type of services here, and places where you can physically go and drop things off, organizations that'll come and pick up. So if anybody wants this, again, just email me. I update this regularly. So for example, in my September e-zine, my updated resource list will be there. I do it at least once a year, but things are changing so rapidly because of the pandemic, so many places coming in and out of business that I change it all the time. So that's my resource list. Yeah. Please tell us how to find a good handyman.
Good luck.
Yeah. I am personally constantly disappointed. I think I have one, and then something happens and I'm like, oh no. And once I get to the oh no, I won't recommend, you know, that person to anybody. They are all really behind. There is, I'm sure you all know the market right now. There's hardly any inventory, and there's not enough housing for people. People are trying to move, and I know a lot of people who have sold their house and now they don't have a place to go, because everybody wanted to jump on the market and get the best price for their home, which they did. But I always tell my clients right now, do not, please, please, please do not sell your house without knowing exactly where you're going, because you might end up homeless, and then it just creates so much havoc for you know, the lawyers and the movers, both buyers and sellers. Anyways, so when I find a good handyman, I'll let you know. You can email me separate. I do have a couple of resources that I think they're terrific. I just know they're very, very busy, but I'm happy to share. But I would say, you know, please vet them out yourselves. All right, we have 2 minutes left. Have your burning summer questions.
Nothing right now.
Okay. So I had mentioned earlier in the beginning, some of you might have missed it, my topic for my September Posse's Pen, which is on September 15th, same time, 12:30 to 1, is paper and digital detox for every kind of home office. So I haven't talked about paper and information in a while. And for a lot of people, that is a real hardship. I go into many houses where there's just paper everywhere. And now we have paper clutter and digital clutter. So that's what my next Posse's Pen is going to be. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you have a great rest of the summer, and I hope to see you on September 15th. Remember, if you want to see more organizing and productivity videos created by Posse, hit the subscribe button and you'll be alerted when the next one is ready.